Welcome back. With the summer travel season just about to kick off, this morning we're looking at what we can expect to pay for gas in the coming weeks and months. According to GasBuddy, the average price of regular gas in Connecticut as of last Thursday was about $3.43 per gallon. The national average about $3.52 per gallon. Now, it was just under $3 a gallon in Connecticut in late December. That's the lowest it had been in the last year. Compared to last year at this time, we're doing much better now. Last May, we were paying an average of $4.61 a gallon. Joining us now to talk about where gas prices are and where they're headed this summer is Patrick Haan. He is the head of petroleum analysis for GasBuddy. Welcome.
Thanks for having me.
So just let's start with where things are right now, Patrick. What have you been seeing in the trends, and how would you evaluate what we're seeing at the pump right now?
Well, certainly price is far lower than a year ago. The price of oil has really cooled off from where it was last year. That's because of not only economic headwinds slowing down global consumption, but also Russia's invasion of Ukraine. Now we are in the 15th month of that, and a lot of the worst fears that drove oil prices up last year, concerned that Russia would maybe tinker with its oil production, stop exporting oil, have not happened. And so Russia remains one of the world's largest oil producers. That has continued, and that's why prices are moderately lower compared to a year ago going into the start of the summer driving season.
It seems like this time of year we talk about that summer driving season, and we always kind of brace for impact, thinking that these prices are going to go up. What do you see as we look out ahead, weeks, months down the line as people are busy out there traveling?
Well, there certainly are some uncertainties this summer that could push prices up, one of them being the economy. As of late, we've seen concerns over an economic slowdown. The Federal Reserve has raised interest rates, and as long as that continues, that would actually push prices lower. If the Fed starts cutting rates, that could start charging up the economy, which would mean higher demand. So the economy certainly is a big wild card. If it improves, prices could heat up. The other wild cards, typically the uncertainties over refineries, if there are any unexpected outages or major hurricanes as we start to get close to the beginning of hurricane season, that's a wild card as well that could push prices up.
There was a lot of coverage when we got to and crossed that $4 per gallon mark. That was a big turning point for a lot of people. Are we expecting that this summer? How much do you think prices will? Do you have a prediction on that?
Well, looking at prices in Connecticut today, just under that mid $3 a gallon level, I don't think we'll get to $4. Now, it does remain possible. Like I said, there are uncertainties over the economy, hurricanes and refineries, all still a wild card. So it's not impossible, but I would say I would bet against us getting $4 a gallon gasoline, at least on average in Connecticut. There may be some rogue stations here and there that you'll see those prices at marinas, for example, but the average price should stay consistently lower. In fact, as we go through the summer, gasoline supply tends to increase, and typically the highest price we see for the year is not in the middle of summer, but just in the late spring. And so there is a possibility that we've already seen our peak for the year, barring those unexpected issues that can arise.
And you said right now inventory not that high. So if there is, like you said, a hurricane or there's an unexpected refinery outage, there's not a lot of wiggle room. So we would expect prices. This could your analysis could change very quickly if something like that were to happen.
Yes, especially on the supply side of things. As you mentioned, inventories do remain fairly tight, and that could be a wild card. And that's why some of those issues we could still see prices going up in the second half of the summer. Gasoline inventory is still very close to last year when we had much higher prices. So that still could be a challenge.
And you were talking about the economy and how much it's a driver of what happens with gas prices. So a lot of people who have, checked in on those 401ks or something like that may not be too thrilled about the economy. But from a gas price perspective, keeping that economy kind of chugging along at a slower pace might be okay for a consumer's wallet.
Yeah, that's right. A slowdown in the economy means a slowdown in consumption. When economic activity and growth is rampant, Americans are out spending more money, filling their tanks more often, and driving more. So as goes the economy, as go gas prices. Unfortunately, it's very rare to see low prices when the economy is very strong, and it's very common to see low prices more associated with the slowdown like we are in right now.
Now, we talked about the prices in Connecticut, but if people are planning some big road trip, is there an area of the country that continues? I mean, we sometimes see those high prices in California when they hit record numbers. Is there a part of the country that's faring differently than the rest of us?
Well, certainly, as you said, there's always kind of regional differences. The West Coast tends to be a hot spot. California's prices still well over $4, but not $5. Arizona, Washington, also places where you'll see higher prices. The cheapest prices, on the other hand, tend to be in the South, along the Gulf Coast. That's because of proximity to infrastructure and refineries and overall lower gasoline taxes.
All right, just time for one more, Patrick. What should people look for? Is there a benchmark? Is there a time period, a price per gallon? Is there something you'll be watching that maybe you could just give us something? Hey, keep an eye out on the price. If it's this on July 4th, it's going to be. What's a benchmark you look to?
Well, the price of oil certainly has a strong role in gas prices. If you see oil prices jumping considerably, there's a good bet that gas prices are going to follow. And if oil falls, it's also a pretty good bet that gas prices will fall. But that's not foolproof. So if anyone likes to look, you can track the price of what's called RBOB. That's reformulated gasoline. Very much like the price of oil, the price of RBOB is a very strong indicator for where gasoline prices are going to go.
All right. Well, we know where we are now, and that's something people can watch for where it's going to go. And, of course, check GasBuddy as well. Patrick Haan, head of petroleum analysis for GasBuddy. Thanks very much for being with us.
Thanks for having me.